You enter the water before your body is ready. The temperature is 12 degrees Celsius. It presses through the wetsuit within seconds. Your breath shortens. Your fingers stiffen around the rope. The boat engine fades, leaving only the low churn of waves and the sound of controlled breathing around you. No one speaks. You are one of 43. By morning, fewer will remain. You didn't arrive here by accident. 2 months earlier, you signed paperwork in a fluorescent-lit office, air conditioning set to 19 degrees Celsius. A recruiter slid forms across a metal desk, 8 pages. No one explained what failure would feel like, only what success might look like. You believed in the version of yourself that hadn't been tested yet. Now you stand on wet sand at 0340, shivering in formation, waiting for instructions that come without warning and end without explanation. This is Phase 1. You are not a soldier yet. You are a candidate. Sleep disappears first. By the 3rd day, you've had less than 4 hours total. Time stops functioning as a measure. Everything becomes cycles. Run, swim, carry, repeat. The instructors don't shout constantly. That would be easier to process. Instead, they watch. They let silence stretch until someone breaks it. When one man quits, the bell rings once. The sound carries farther than anything else here. You start counting the rings. By the end of the week, you stop. The cold becomes procedural. You enter the surf at intervals measured in minutes. 8 minutes in, 2 minutes out, then back again. At first, your body resists. Later, it complies. That is when they start paying closer attention. Because compliance is not the goal. Control is. You pass. Not cleanly, not confidently, but you remain. 21 of you move forward. You receive no ceremony, just a new schedule. Phase 2 begins with repetition. Weapons drills, room clearing, communication protocols. You learn to speak less, to move with intention. Every step calculated. A mistake here is corrected immediately. A mistake later will not be. Your first rank is informal. You are the new one. You carry more, speak less, watch everything. You log equipment at 0610. You clean it at 2130. You check it again at 2300. Details matter because they accumulate. A loose strap, a missed round, a delayed response. Each one small. Together, they become failure. Your first deployment comes without ceremony. You're briefed in a room with no windows, temperature set to 18 degrees Celsius. A projector hums quietly. Coordinates flash across the wall. You are given an objective. You are not given context. The helicopter ride lasts 19 minutes. You count them. At minute 12, you stop feeling your hands. At minute 19, the door opens. You move. Your role is simple. Follow. You are the last in the stack. You watch the angles others miss. You listen for changes in breathing patterns. You learn quickly that silence is information. So is movement. The first time something goes wrong, it doesn't feel dramatic. There is no warning, just a shift. A door opens too quickly. A shadow moves out of sequence. Your teammate reacts before you understand why. Afterward, you reconstruct the moment in fragments. That is how learning happens here. Not during, after. Months pass. You are no longer the newest. Someone else carries the extra weight. You notice things now. Small inefficiencies, slight hesitations. You correct them without discussion. This is your first promotion. No announcement, just expectation. You become a point man, first through the door. You learn to compress fear into procedure, distance, angle, entry. There is no space for interpretation, only execution. Responsibility expands quietly. You are given 2 men to watch. You track their performance, their timing,
They're errors. You report without emotion, because emotion distorts data. Your pay increases. $3,200 becomes $4,100 per month. It does not change your life, because your life is not here. You return home twice a year, 12 days each time. The first time feels familiar, the second time does not. You notice how slow everything is, how conversations linger, how people expect responses that require explanation. You stop explaining. Phase 3 reveals itself gradually. The system is not only missions, it is structure, reports, evaluations, chains of command. Every action becomes a line in a document. Every outcome becomes a metric. You learn the unspoken rules. Never surprise your superior. Never protect incompetence. Never expose the system. If something fails, it fails within acceptable boundaries. You begin to understand creative compliance. You follow orders, but you interpret them in ways that preserve outcomes, not always intentions. You are promoted again, leading petty officer. Now you manage others formally, 6 men. You schedule their rotations, approve their reports, correct their behavior. You notice something changing. You speak less during operations, more before them. Mistakes become heavier. A missed detail is no longer yours alone. It belongs to everyone under you. This changes how you think. You begin anticipating failure, not evading it, managing it. A mission shifts unexpectedly. Intel is outdated by 48 hours. The layout is different. You adjust, not because you are confident, but because there is no alternative. Afterward, the report lists the mission as successful. No mention of deviation, no record of uncertainty. The system prefers clean outcomes. You provide them. Phase 4 begins quietly. Your identity narrows. You are no longer defined by background, only by function. Relationships fade without conflict. You miss calls, delay responses, shorten conversations. There is no argument, only distance. You are promoted to chief. Your responsibilities expand beyond direct action. You coordinate multiple teams. You manage resources. You begin to see operations as patterns, not events. Sleep becomes irregular. 4 hours one night, 2 the next. You adapt. Your body follows. Your mind compartmentalizes. You notice emotional responses decreasing, not disappearing, but compressing. You still recognize fear. It simply does not interrupt. Another deployment, different terrain, same structure, different faces, same expectations. You lose someone. It is not discussed immediately. The mission continues. Only later does the absence become visible, an empty space in formation, a missing voice in briefings. You process it alone, because that is how the system functions. Phase 5 arrives without announcement. It begins with a report, a routine document, numbers, outcomes, casualties. One line stands out, an error, small, correctable, but the correction requires acknowledgement. Acknowledgement creates exposure. Exposure creates consequence. You choose not to correct it. You justify it as procedural efficiency. The outcome remains unchanged. The record remains clean. That is the moment. Not loud, not visible, but irreversible. You understand now. The system does not reward truth. It rewards stability. You are promoted again, senior chief, more distance from action, more involvement in decision-making. You sit in rooms where operations are planned, maps, timelines, probabilities, lives reduced to variables. You contribute accurately, efficiently. You realize something. You no longer think like the person who entered the water. That version is gone, replaced gradually, function by function. Phase 6 begins with absence. Your role transitions. Less field time, more oversight. Eventually, you step back, not abruptly, gradually. Assignments decrease. Responsibilities transfer. You attend your final briefing. No ceremony, just another meeting. You are no longer required. You leave the building at 17:20. The air outside feels different, warmer, less controlled. Days pass, then weeks. You wake without orders, no schedule, no structure. You attempt to reintroduce routine. It doesn't hold, because routine here has no consequence. You realize something else. The system did not depend on you. It adapted around you, seamlessly. A new candidate stands on the same beach, 0340, water at 12 degrees Celsius, 43 men. The cycle continues, uninterrupted. You remember the first moment, the cold, the silence, the belief that you were entering something. Now you understand, you were being absorbed, and when you left, nothing changed.